Welcome to NRL 180 Draft Show. The people's choice, the people's voice. The way we do it here, we talk about the NRL on different sort of levels from the people's point of view. And for me, the one and only Sam Nader, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
That was an Eminem introduction. I like that one. That was beautiful.
I've been trying to work on it. Also with us on the panel tonight is the one and only Mr. Barbarian. How you going?
Good, David. Thanks for having me, mate. It's great to be back.
Oh, it's great to have you back. And the genius himself, Mr. Anthony J, back in the hot spot. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, David. Good to be here, mate.
It's good to have you here, and we have a massive show on tonight. A lot to talk about. Did I mention it was the finals edition? It's a finals edition tonight, of course.
Finals edition.
Because I have not seen finals like this coming up to an absolute monster of a week. Sam, lead me on.
Dave, before we go ahead, I want to apologise to our fans. I haven't been here for the last couple of weeks. I've had a gig over in Papua New Guinea, just getting some new scouts there. We've got a lot of good talent coming from over there, so
Oh, nice.
I'll run you through that a bit later.
That's beautiful,
But
Sam.
Thank you, Angela, for taking my spot. Angela Giannopoulos, whatever her name is. She's done a fantastic job.
Well,
Thank you.
she got us record views, let me tell you that.
It was
so.
good. It was good. Now, let's get through it. Dave, kick us off with the start of
Canberra
the show.
Raiders versus the Parramatta Eels. I'm gonna jump into it straight away. I'm gonna express what I think about this one. Fuck, they disappointed me, the Raiders.
They shouldn't have been there in the first place.
It's not about that. They came into the game with good momentum. I think Tarpany and the boys exploded like before the game. I think no one I knew even thought like we're all the green machine, and the way they came out, they were non-existent for me. Barbs.
Yeah, I think they basically got put into their place. They had a great win last week against the Storm. Parramatta Eels obviously in front of their home ground. Great performance from start to finish. Dominated them all over the park. You know, Canberra had a couple of little patches, but yeah, Parramatta overpowered them. Just showed the difference in quality between both the teams.
100%. Anthony.
Yeah, I just don't think Canberra showed up. You're talking about the first 23 minutes being 22-0. Like, it was one-way traffic. Half-time score, 22-4. I mean, yeah, it was just unbelievable from Parramatta, and yeah, Canberra stayed in the sheds.
Well, these are cute, but they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
I agree.
What do you say that for?
They're not a top 8 side. They got lucky in the last game, and they got through.
Yeah, scraped their way through into the 8.
And Tarpany and Big Papa paid 24 minutes. They're your two biggest front rows. You paid 22 minutes.
I don't understand. And this is where we have our debate about Ricky Stewart. I mean, sometimes he has these brain snaps. I don't get it. But Eels, too strong. Moses, too
Dave,
strong.
on that topic as well, Ricky Stewart, I know we give him a lot of shit on the show. Straight after the game, they ran into fans. He stayed with them for half an hour. I read it yesterday. And after that, it was at the petrol station. After that, he paid for everyone's fuel before he left.
Are you serious?
I swear to God.
That's nice, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
So one good thing Ricky's done in his life. It's not bad.
No, it's beautiful.
I just think David Mitchell Moses silenced the doubters. Clint Gutherson was obviously instrumental, always leading by example. Yeah, Parramatta. We were talking about Raiders being a force last week. It looks like Parramatta are probably going to be the force.
a lot of pressure on him, Bubs.
Yeah, there is now. Massive game on Friday night against the Cowboys. Obviously, we'll talk more about that further later on in the show. Let's see if they can silence the doubters once and for all.
They have been choking as of late, so hopefully they can pull through this.
I think Brad Arthur's got his whole body and mind into this one now. I think for him it's a massive. I think it's more like I need to prove something here. I know a lot of people have been speaking about it.
Was his job on the line halfway through the year? Was it? were they
Oh,
talking
there's
about
always
that?
pressure on him that he can't deliver in the finals time. And he has the worst finals record. Last week, it was 2 wins from 10 appearances. Whereas this week, we got 3 from 11.
My wife says I've got the same problem. Can't deliver on most occasions, but
Can't deliver in the finals.
Oh my God. Cronulla Sharks, South Sydney Rabbitohs.
that's a game of the round for me.
Huh?
That's a good game.
This one?
That was a good game.
Yeah, look.
But I really thought, I don't know, you know what, David? 'Cause
The big boy stepped it up. Souths did what Souths does, and for me, they showed up
I
and
had
they
Cronulla
showed
all
up
day.
big time.
I had Cronulla all day. I read that.
They
completely
showed
wrong.
up big time. And for me, the Terrell Mitchell, Cameron Murray, at his best, at his peak,
Yep.
is nothing he can't do.
Nah.
Ilias as well in everything. Surprisingly, he had a very, very good game. Barbs, what do you think? What do you think about that one, man?
That look, for me, Cronulla, the question mark's always been where's their strike coming from besides Hines? When Hines can't, put it on, let's just say, what else do they have? And the answer is nothing. Like if they're targeting Hines, who else is he going to give the ball to? Moylan? You know, Talakai's a bit of a punch on the edges, but he obviously wasn't there. In saying that, South's unbelievable. And you know what? Mitchell didn't do much.
Yeah.
He didn't do much. He didn't have to.
His presence alone is more than enough for that
I
team.
think we always talk about his presence. I think his
Yeah.
presence does
Yeah.
wonders for the club.
Yeah.
Cody Walker had a good game. They just gelled more. I think Cronulla, again, bit disappointing from my end because I just didn't think like they were really up for it.
I just think in regards to Latrell, he's a very different type of fullback than you see as like the Dylan Edwards fullbacks, Gufferson, James Tedesco. Like when Souths versus the Roosters, James Tedesco made more meters in the first 20 minutes if any was taken off for a HIA than Mitchell made the entire game. He doesn't take the scoots from dummy half. He doesn't do, all the sort of 1%ers. He gets limited opportunities and he'll get a try assist or a try out of
But
him.
he takes those limited opportunities.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does. And he's instrumental in every Souths win.
So, I mean, from here, Sammy, would you say Souths are contenders?
Look, they're definitely contenders. Like Anthony was saying, it's not a one-person show. There's 4 or 5 strike powers in there, so
Yeah, look,
very dangerous.
100. And for me, I believe like a team like Souths on a good day can beat any team.
I believe
But,
if Latrell's on, they're on.
yeah.
In saying that, there was a few injuries to come out of this game. You had Alex Johnston cop the hip flexor injury.
Big, massive.
Jai Arrow, I know this is your favourite body part, Sam. He copped his groin.
Oh, nice.
We got Saliva Havili, he done his calf. And Judiciary Tavita Totola, he copped the $1,800 fine.
But he's off, isn't he?
Yeah, he's okay. You just have to
And they're
pay
saying
a fine.
Johnson's going to play with the injury.
Oh, I highly doubt he's going to.
That's what they're saying. They said
Highly
today.
doubt.
Yeah, he's been named, but yeah, all the talks
He
are...
doesn't do much. He catches the ball and puts the ball
Yeah,
down.
but
Nah.
the problem is if he, once
What is that injury? What
It's
is
a hip flexor, so it's sort of it's obviously a hip, but the
It's
problem
like when your hips got reflux. so yeah.
the problem is if something happens, it makes one bad movement or one bad
He won't be
step.
playing the grand final.
Not only that, then do you put a utility on a back on the bench just to cover for him? If that does happen, which is probably likely,
right.
Yeah.
how do you cover for that? You'd rather put Paulo in and just
Yeah.
run with that and
Or
hope
even
for
the
best.
source, Josh Mansell. He might
I
not
think
get
he's
a
down.
shot
I
this
think he's
year.
down the pecking order. Unfortunately, I love
Has
Josh,
he
but
signed to a club yet?
not yet.
No one's after him. I think
yet.
he's still good value on that topic, but he's got a good couple of
Yeah,
years
he
in him, surely.
brings a fair bit of experience, He's I think he's represented the state. Yeah, he's not too
Yeah,
bad
I
of a
think
player.
he's still got value in him for at least another 2 years.
We're just going to have to wait and see on that one, boys. But look, for me, again, just wrapping up that round, I felt Canberra and Cronulla didn't really kind of shine the way I wanted them to shine. I just feel like, and what frustrates me the most is that if you were to get those two teams on a good day, it would have been a fucking mad clash. And it would have been a bit more closer and a bit more competitive. But I feel, Souths, Eels, just too good. Just too good for me. I want to talk about this. Before we get into next week, the 2022 Player Dream Team has been selected. Very interesting to see this one. Anthony, tell me. I need to hear about it.
Yeah, well, so the 2022 Player Dream Team, David, is when the actual players of the NRL, the current players, select their best players or who they think is the best player. So we're cutting out the fans, cutting out, spectators, commentators, the likes of Greg Alexander, Brad Fittler, the people that usually, might select who the Dally M player is and whatnot. So I think stock standard, everyone agrees. James Tedesco, fullback of the year. You're not
Yep.
going to get many arguments there.
No.
You got Joseph Sawali and Daniel Tupou, the wingers.
I think that's fair.
That's questionable.
No, I think it's fair. I think they both had cracker years, and Sawali's definitely there for me. I had the same argument with one of my friends the other day about. We straight away both agreed that Sawali would be one of the wingers, but who'd you pick for the other one? Hard task. Daniel Tupou's had a good year. Adakar as well. I think
Alex
he's had-
Johnson.
Alex, but I mean, can you? Who do you go for?
You got the top try scorer and you don't put him in the conversation.
So sorry, is this all time or is this based on
No,
current?
this year.
Current year.
This
Okay.
year.
Yeah.
So Sawali hasn't played. Well, he hasn't really played all year.
No,
has he?
that's what I
No, he
mean.
hasn't.
How's
And
he in the
only
conversation?
he only really came into light.
So you reckon bad selection there?
I definitely think so.
That's what happens when you play for the Roosters.
I think I think
Probably.
if you're looking based on this year, how about Taylor May?
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
Brian Dorr?
Brilliant.
He
Yeah.
hasn't had the best year, but
Yeah.
Taylor
Yeah.
May was unbelievable this year.
Yeah, even someone like Corey Oates has scored 20 tries this year.
Alex
like
Johnson
it's-
has to be there.
I think,
guaranteed.
I think, yeah, with that sort of
Yeah.
finishing, he.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't believe I didn't think about that. I had to.
Well, that's what makes this interesting, guys. This isn't our opinion. It isn't the spectators' opinion. This is the current players' opinion. So they obviously either have a hard time going up against Suwali, or they're seeing a brilliant star in Suwali to say, hey, he's one of the best wingers.
Okay. Centers Joseph Manu and Justin Olam. Manu for me is obviously there.
Very well deserved, yeah.
And Olam, like with
Yes, look,
Really?
he's a powerhouse.
you don't consider Campbell Graham there, for example,
No, I wouldn't, to be honest.
really,
No.
or Lomax,
Lomax
or
maybe,
Staggs.
yeah.
I mean, Staggs hasn't had the best season, but I mean,
It's hard to decide because I think obviously I think Staggs is
Ramian?
probably Staggs is probably one of the best centers in the game besides Manu. Obviously, he's
Just
head
had
and
a bad
shoulders above
season.
everyone else. Olam's had a good season this year.
Yeah. I think Olam's a player you just don't want to come up against. The guy tackles you, you feel like you got hit by a train.
Yeah.
Like he's just out of control.
He's
in
too
that
strong.
regard. Yeah.
5'8" Cameron Munster. Yes.
Don't even, you
Yeah.
just move straight on.
Halfback Ben Hunt.
No,
That's a bit funny, that one.
Well, Ben Hunt's actually up until a few weeks out of the prior to round 25 where the Daily M selection stopped, he was favourite to take out the Daily M. But I don't think you can personally go past Nico Hines.
what about Cherry Evans?
Oh, yeah,
I
Cherry.
don't know.
Cherry's been
So,
instrumental.
so Nathan Cleary doesn't make the cut.
That's all. Nobody's
What-
mentioned
what
his
the fuck's
name.
wrong with you? I don't-
He's missed a lot of...
I don't care if he's missed 5 weeks, man.
Yeah.
He's missed 5 weeks.
Look, we're
yeah.
talking about the best player in the
How
world.
do you not like?
And he's not in the
With all
conversation.
due respect, Ben Hunt, I love you, and I think you're one of the hottest halfbacks. But come on, man, you can't dismiss Nathan Cleary. And I can't believe you guys didn't even it didn't cross your minds. I don't get it.
Oh, there's no doubt Nathan Cleary's a better player in general. He's going to go down as one of the best halfbacks to play the game when he retires, if not the best player ever. You got to remember the kid's 22. He's played 150 games. You know, he could potentially break Cameron Smith's record. But I think in regards to this year, Ben Hunt and Nico Hines, they've both been solid.
Oh, they have been.
They really have.
I'm not taking anything away from Ben Hunt.
Can we just go around and get a tip on who think Dally M winner is?
Yeah, well...
You obviously back in Nico Hines.
before you get there, Sam? Let me
Sorry,
get,
yeah,
no.
finish
So
off that.
let me continue on. Props: James Fisher Harris and Joseph Tarpany.
Can't disagree.
Yeah, fair.
I'm happy with that. Hooker, RP Carousel.
This is a tough conversation. Though.
It is. But
The hooker's the toughest position because you got Harry Grant, you got Api
I'm
Coruscant,
going to
and
go
how
out
can
on a
you
limb. I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to agree with that.
And then you got Damien Cook.
yeah.
How
But
can you
Coruscant
go
hasn't even played 80 minutes.
Oh,
he
only
does,
recently.
yeah.
Only recently.
since he announced that Tigers signing? they
correct.
lost that
For
at
me,
correct,
favour.
for me, it's Harry Grant there, but I'll agree
Anthony?
with you on this one.
Damien Cook.
Yeah, you've always had a hard
Well,
one
I
for
think
David.
I personally think Api Coruscant is a big shot at making the Australian team this year over Cookie and Grant.
Is his name actually Appy or? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Second rowers, Jeremiah Nanai and Isaiah Papalili. I'm going to have to probably
Can't
agree
even
with this
talk
one.
about that, yeah. That's guaranteed.
Are we good with? Are we good there, Anth?
Yeah, I think so. Nanai's had a great season, so you can't knock him. Papali is a great player. There's second row is a very, very tough
Yeah.
one. Colin Matangi's
It's been a very hot
Matangi's
position.
had a very, very
Yeah.
good season this year.
I think he's probably one of my favourite players this year, to be honest. Colin
It's hard.
Matangi.
You've only got to pick two, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything much about that.
He's beautiful, man.
For me, this last position is absolutely undisputed.
Guaranteed.
Undisputed.
Mr. Cameron Murray.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Undisputed.
Are we disputing Cameron Murray?
I'm not disputing him, but Isaiah Yo's not far behind.
I knew you were going to say that.
He's just
I
not
knew
far
you were
behind.
going to say
Like,
that.
Mate, they're like for like, really.
Yeah, you can't take anything away from Isaiah. He's been wonderful to watch in the
I'm
recent
surprised
games
you
as
know
well.
Cameron Murray hot.
He is hot.
He is hot,
I
isn't
know,
he? Yeah.
He's good looking as well.
Talk about hot, David. While we're on the topic of hot, do you mind standing up and showing the picture?
Not really.
If you don't mind,
Not
please
really.
stand up, David.
No,
Just-
no
no,
way.
no.
No, not. Look, maybe later in the show, but
Okay.
tonight it's all about from here to here.
No,
That's
but you have
about
to
it.
promise you got to stand up and show our fans
I'll see. I'll tell
what
you
they're
how
really
it
missing
is.
out on.
I will see how I'm feeling.
Okay.
Mitchell Moses has a bonus in his contract, which will see his salary jump from 900,000 to $1 million if Parramatta win this year's grand final. Anthony,
Oh, I just mean it's a little bit of motivation for him, you know? Like, if you were ever to step it up, mate, go for it. You're going to get an extra 100 grand, get that grand final ring.
what
Good
would
on
you
ya.
do for 100,000? Anthony?
Oh, mate, I can't say it on the show, put it that way.
I'd wear the same shorts David's wearing right now for 100 grand.
Well, nothing wrong with that, Bubs.
Good incentive, I think. It's it's probably going to edge him to play a bit better, I think. I think that more of those incentive-based things will come out.
But can I ask you? Does it really? I mean, you have a shot at making the grand final, and a lot of people are, and they're not favourites by the way against the Cowboys, but tipping them to kind of make it through. But isn't you making the grand final? Would that be enough motivation for you to just
It's
fucking
just an
go
extra
for it?
little motivation.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I don't know why they have to mix it up and put even more pressure on the guy. You know. But
David, it's like me selling your house and you say, if I get you 3 million, you give me an extra 100 grand. Because you know what I mean? It's
what
more
would you-
motivation.
Would you?
You know what I mean?
How many phone calls did you make that day? You reckon?
At least 100.
But look, good on him. Again, look, I know I haven't. I'm not saying I'm not the most Mitchell Moses fan. I am,
he's-
but I think he's been a bit. And I said it before. I think he's been a bit inconsistent. But I think in the finals so far, he's proven me wrong, completely wrong. He is stepping it up where he needs to for his team. So look, good luck to him.
on the Mitchell Moses, with the concussion the week before, should he have played that week? There was a lot of controversy around that.
If it wasn't a finals game, he wouldn't have been there.
He shouldn't have been allowed to be there in the first place. But
Yeah, they'll bend the rules.
Yeah.
yeah, of course they will.
And on the topic of Moses, Benji wants the Tigers to sign him.
Yeah, they've got a little bromance going on, I think.
You reckon?
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
You should be happy about this, David. He's trying to bring him home.
You know what I don't like? When a club has a player, lets them go, they kill it, or they have a good season or good few seasons, and then they decide to bring him back again. Fuck, if you want a player, stick with him, let him flourish at the club. We don't have flourishing players at the club. All of our players that we get are either juniors that all of a sudden you see a good sign, we get rid of them.
Yeah.
And then on the back end of that, we get players that have already flourished, they've already shown everybody how good they are,
bring them
and then
back.
we bring them
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
I get frustrated with that.
The Tigers
Look
should
at
have.
Jock Madden now has just left.
Yep.
Okay? So I went to Brisbane Broncos. I like that young kid. Okay? He's good to have him in the squad. He played his heart out. And he's still a young guy. But why not keep him?
Yeah.
Why? He wasn't costing that much.
No.
You have to let go of him to the Brisbane Broncos, who, by the way, I reckon they're going to have some, I think it's going to be excellent over there, to be honest.
I
But
think 8 years ago, David, the Tigers should have let go of Brooks and kept Moses. But we'll leave that for another day.
we'll leave that for another day. And if we want to talk about how the Tigers actually would have looked if we didn't get rid of some of these players. And I know a few of the players already have entered in your mind.
James Tedesco,
Correct.
Mitchell Moses.
Give me a couple, Anth. I'm going to put you on the
I
spot.
was just going to say James Tedesco.
That alone
That's
is
the
enough.
only one.
You know
How
what I mean?
about, no, like Andrew Fafita, don't worry about him.
Andrew Fafita, Josh Adokar.
Sharon Woods.
Yeah.
The list goes on. Moses, come on. Like, it's too much for me.
Sharon Woods. Is he still in the conversation? Did he retire yet?
He's been in the media this week.
Corey Oates inks a new deal. Mr. Programmer explained to me how that's hot news. Come on, man. We're trying to keep the subscribers happy here.
The only thing I want to mention about Corey Oates is he scored 20 tries this year. He's averaging 170 metres per game, as well as 79 tackle busts and 18 line breaks.
Fantastic.
Has to be
Move
mentioned.
on.
And he's probably still the shittest winger.
Next.
This one here requires, and this for me is that sometimes, and I love you, and I love ex NRL players that try to always get involved in the game, after they finish and after they retire, and I get it. Having that sort of spotlight when you're a player, even when you're when you get to the coaching sort of stuff, but if you're outside of that realm, you try to interject yourself into the game, and sometimes people do stupid shit. Gordon Taylor's, for me, comments about Ben Ikin were uncalled for, uneducated, very biased. You don't go about disgracing or even trying to mention something like that at a club. You guys should be honoured to have such a legend and a brilliant mind at
Exactly.
your club.
But not
you
only
be,
that,
you be
Dave.
quiet because everything that came out of your mouth jeopardised him being at the club.
Yeah, but
So-
not only that, have we not learnt from the Paul Green situation?
I don't understand.
Like, treat your colleagues with a bit of respect. It's not an easy gig.
There's no respect there. There's no respect there for me. Anthony, what do you think?
I think Gordon Tallis has a great history of talking absolute rubbish in front of the camera. He's very biased to his mates, let's just say.
Yeah.
And he can't even construct two sentences together. So I don't know
Yeah,
why
he's dopey.
people take much from what he says.
He is a
Yeah,
dope.
I just
Like-
think, I 100% agree. I personally wouldn't say those comments to his face from the way he used to throw punches back in the game. But, he's got a bit of history with Brisbane Broncos. He's was there originally, wanted Kevin Walters to get the job. They ended up giving the job to Anthony Seibold. And since then, he's been on a downhill spiral with the Broncos. He's always going at them.
What's he bring to the club?
Or he worked for the Titans, Gordon Tallis. He doesn't actually work for the Broncos.
Anyway,
He works for the Titans. He's just trying to support.
So stay out of it.
yeah,
he's
he's trying
like-
to support
yeah.
Kevin
If
Walters.
If you want to support Kevin Walters as your friend, you know what you do. Give him a call after working hours, have a conversation, have a DM with him on the phone.
Yep.
Okay? Be there for him as a friend and support him that way.
he's
Don't
like
need for you to go vocalize yourself.
He's like
and
the
emba- and actually
ex-girlfriend that
embarrass
won't leave you alone.
Shut up, man. Just be quiet.
He just brought, I think, negativity to this whole situation.
And Kevin
at the
Walters
moment.
should be very, very happy to have Icon there with him. Very happy.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Walters has clearly made some really fucking stupid mistakes this season. Okay. And if he did a couple of little tweaks, he could have potentially made the finals. So step back, let Icon help you out and be happy that he's actually there at the club.
If next point here, I just want you to tell us a little bit about Max Jorgensen.
Yeah,
I know
well,
he's on the program. We don't know too much about him, but
yeah, he's a good
us all a
young
rundown.
player. He's been playing in the rugby union for the last 2 years. I believe he's 18 years old at the moment. A lot of clubs were lining up for his signature, including the Bulldogs. I was actually quite excited about it, but like anything, you think it's rumours and whatnot. But yeah, apparently the Dogs and the Roosters were both close to getting him. Stayed with the Waratahs. Another loss to rugby league.
Unfortunate there.
but we're talking about 18-year-olds getting thrown big contracts. Like I don't even have hair on my balls at 18. Like you're throwing a player into the media, and that is it too early? Like Sawali, too early? No.
I think this world is moving so quick, Sam. Nothing surprises me anymore.
I just feel like you don't want to put him in the limelight that quickly and put him on $1 million contracts at that age, and they burn out after 3 years.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think players are obviously debuting much younger now than they were when we were growing up. I think obviously social media plays a big part in how these stories are portrayed nowadays. I think obviously they've got a bigger reach to a much larger audience, which is why we're talking about it on this show. I think obviously if he's a talent, then why not? If you can
identify him
offer
early.
something, yeah, definitely. Why wouldn't rugby league clubs be all over him?
And it's one of those things. Like at the end of the day, Sam, like if you end up purchasing a younger player, 18 or 19-year-old, and you offer him big money on an extended contract, and that player actually flourishes, the club's ahead second, third year in, because otherwise we'll have to offer them more money. And when you hook them young, it could be a long-term strategy for that club. But whatever's happening in the recruitment world, I think it's moving very, very quick, and they're doing funny things in that space. Knights were fighting as well hard for Bevan French.
Bevan French.
Anthony, what's going like? I mean, Bevan
Well, I
French.
think we're going to have a chat with our producers. Bevan French.
Yeah. Look, Gunn. Yeah, look,
All right, it was gone 10 years ago. Relax,
I
man.
know. I mean, how has this even hit the programming? Please, Am. You got to explain to me.
Oh, mate, it's just in the media at the moment. Good young player, but yeah, probably not good enough to make the program.
I reckon Amp was watching a porno that came up or one of those things. But anyway,
This one's a wonderful.
This one's
one.
interesting,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is one. Brody Croft has won the Man of Steel award in the Super League.
Man of Steel, the bloke couldn't make the NRL.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Had a good season back then, Amp?
Yeah, well, he's obviously played good enough to be the best player in the Super League. And the main reason that we're even speaking about this is how far behind is the Super League
Exactly.
to what,
You
in
know what?
regards to the NRL.
If that reminds me of something, your friend, he played for the Tigers. What's his name? Blake Austin.
Yeah.
Same thing. He left here, was Man of Steel 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
The guy couldn't get a first grade contract for I don't know how long. Like,
Just show. I think
What
it
are
just
they
shows the
playing?
quality between both competitions.
I think so. I think so. I think that's the biggest identifier right there. But you know what? Congratulations to Brody Croft. Hopefully this will give him the motivation to come.
He's not I don't think he's a bad player.
but he's not a great player.
No, he's not. And like I said, that just shows the difference between the two. I think he could still start in a handful of NRL clubs. Like he'd walk straight into the Knights starting lineup.
If you'd walk straight into the Knights starting lineup.
At the moment,
That's what
anyway.
I'm trying to say. He's a decent player. I think he'll be back in the NRL at some point.
Interesting. Well, I found that a funny
But
one,
again,
to be
congratulations, man.
Yeah, well done.
Well done, man.
honest. Glad they did.
Yeah. Dragons young gun Tyron Sloan won't be released by the club despite the fact that he no longer wants to play under Anthony Griffin.
Dave, this one actually upset me. A young kid wants to get out. He doesn't want to play for his coach anymore. Let him go. You're not even playing him. You're not starting him. Let him go. Let him move on with his future.
Yeah, I 100% agree with
It's
Sam.
like you, one of your staff that work for you doesn't want to work for you anymore.
But is there anything behind that? Is there something sneaking there behind the doors, Anth, that we don't know about?
Well, the most obvious thing is Cody Ramsey's there in front of him and he's in favour. Tyrone Sloan's out of favour. He's only going to be there if Cody Ramsey's injured. I mean, why wouldn't you want to go? You're a young player.
And even when he was, and even when he did get injured, Moses and Bai stepped in there for a couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
that's right.
And
they
he's probably
put him on
getting
the side.
paid 2/5 of fuck all. Like he probably just wants to go somewhere else, get a bit more money, and
And
actually
yeah,
start.
And
it's
play,
funny.
yeah.
It's funny because before the season they were saying how exciting he was. They were comparing him to Mark Gasnier.
They've been saying it for 2 seasons with Sloan.
And then you don't give him a shot on the field. What is it, Anth?
I think it's been very poorly managed. Sloan. Look, if you look at the last, season and a half, he'd be brought in. Look, to the coach's credit, he hasn't really performed, at any stage of his
Yeah, but
career.
you got to
so
give him
far.
a run.
That's exactly right. So what's happened is he'd play one game, he wouldn't have the best of games, and then he'd be dropped for 5 or 6 weeks. How is that going to do him any good?
And then you're forcing him to stay at the club.
Well,
that's
the
what I'm
thing.
saying. It's
They
not fair.
They obviously recognise that he's a talent. They don't want to let him go, but as well, you have to play him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I think nothing against Ramsey. I like him as a player, but they need to fix up whatever's going on there.
Just bad culture.
If you're going to do spiteful things like that, and whether it is spiteful or not, well, you're never going to know. And if there is a backstory behind it, I would love to know that, Anthony. Keep an ear out. But look, I mean, if he wants to leave, let him leave. Let him pursue another career with another club. Hudson Young selected in the Kangaroos extended squad. I love that.
Very
I love
well
that.
deserved.
Yeah,
Very well
Yeah,
deserved.
we all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, he's the one person we missed when we were talking about Nanai in the back
Yeah.
row. He's, I think, by far had the best season of his career.
Yeah.
He's got me a double a couple of
Yeah.
times.
Me too.
Yeah, he's a beautiful
We
boy.
just think alike. We're like connected. yeah.
In the second half of the season, David, he scored 10 tries from round 15 onwards, 43 tackle breaks in that time frame.
Oh well.
And he's not in that conversation. The best second row in the game.
Yeah. Oh, who do you pick?
There was Nanai and Papa. Look, they're all on the same level, but you got to pick two.
Yeah,
But I think he's in there.
Yeah, I think he is too. Papa Lili's my boy. I love him. But
and
I mean,
we was talking about it before the show. We all thought he was a palm. Like, how's he?
but you know what?
How's he
Also,
get selected?
so I gotta say this. I gotta highlight this player, and I think towards the back end of the season had an absolute cracker. Sean Lane, for me, has really stepped it up in that position as well. Some of the things that he's done for Parramatta, and
What's his nickname, Dave, that we called him?
get out of my lane.
That's the one.
Oh, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Matt Lodge calling out for Gallen in a for a boxing fight. Sam,
You know what? This is not worth talking about.
Not
boys.
worth talking about?
I'd love to see him get belted after what he's done,
it's
but,
all right.
but that's the only reason I'd actually watch it. Look, don't get me wrong. I'll pay pay-per-view to watch him get belted. And that's what he's saying.
And that's what he wants, Sam.
That's what he
why
wants,
he's
obviously.
doing it.
Yeah. But he's saying, everyone hates me after what I've done when he was overseas. So let me jump in and get it belted. But he's after the money. But he's giving it all to charity, which I've got to give it to him.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful gesture, but I hope he gets his teeth knocked out. You know, and Waria Hargrove straight after him would be fantastic.
oh, these NRL players, they
Do you like these NRL fights, Sam? David?
Personally, I believe, and again, it's one of those things where athletes you can't just turn around and say switch off the button at the back of your brain and say stay at home and put your legs up or go become a financial broker or go work in real estate or go do this or go do that. Mate, the guy's been training in the gym, for 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years straight. Okay, pumping iron, have that sort of lifestyle. You can't just switch it off.
Yeah.
And you see some of these. That's why most of these NRL players, and we just spoke about it before in the show, that they want to always be attached somehow. And if it's not
to
to
the game.
NRL, something in the sporting industry, get out there and promote yourself a bit more and get that spotlight back on you. But not necessarily for the spotlight, but they just want to be in that field. You can't just switch it off. And I think the NRL needs to start putting a lot in consideration and start having a bit of a roadmap on how these players, when they retire, whether it's forcefully or voluntary, how it looks for them after the game. And if there is no roadmap, it's like throwing them off the cliff. It really needs to be.
They are doing it
attended
now,
to.
though, and they have been for a number of years. But what they're doing is they're basically educating them before starting their career, or sort of aligning that with the start of their career. So, they're, like I said, educated to how to spend money. A career after football just so they don't fall off a cliff once they retire.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see some changes, and hopefully, the NRL will get that right, and it continues to be, a wonderful program for them. Suwali commits to Samoa for the upcoming World Cup. Anf?
Yeah, good on him. Samoa have a good team. Suwali,
side.
Brian To'o, Jerome Lua, Junior Paulo, Josh Papali.
Yeah.
You know,
so
I
it
like
just
this.
adds to
I
it.
like this. I like this that other people are committing to their country to give the
International.
big boys a run. Like at least make it interesting.
Australian, New
Yeah.
Zealand
Yeah.
aren't the sort of
They're not the
absolute
powerhouses
dominance.
anymore. Yeah.
I think it's good for Suwali because there's been a lot of speculation in the media now. Between him and Tedesco fighting for the number 1 jersey. He'll play at the 1 for Samoa.
And we get
This
to
is the
see it,
perfect
yeah.
opportunity for him to prove himself on obviously
On an
it's not
international
the
level.
biggest stage, but it is the biggest stage. If you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I'm excited for it. Can't really focus on that or think about that when we have these next couple of weeks coming up, that's for sure. Payne Haas used the club's award night to silence suggestions that he was leaving the club. He has every intention on staying with Brisbane. He has withdrawn from the World Cup selection, so he's fit and firing for Brisbane in 2023.
Sarah hated this bloke. Honestly, I'm sick of hearing about him.
Can I just say something as well? We've missed one. Don't worry about Payne Haas. The biggest news of the week for us, Canterbury Bulldogs supporters, Matthew Burton.
Yeah, wow. Unbelievable. Like, about bloody time.
The golden boy.
We should have secured this kid before he laced up the boots for us, let alone waiting to the end of the year. It's obviously strategic. He's on the open market as of November the 1st. We've got to get something in quick. Hopefully he says yes. He goes to the open market. We're not retaining him. He's going to get offers bigger than what he's
I
getting.
can see the table rising there, mate. You get a bit of a hard one.
I'm getting taller than a Roman sandal. Yeah, Matt Burton, mate. We've got to do everything we can to keep him. I heard Paul Gallen was giving Gus a bit of stick on is it 100% footy?
Yeah.
Saying, well, yeah, you done pretty well because you're getting him for less than $1 million a year. And
So
that's
what's the numbers getting thrown around at the moment with you?
It's over $3 million,
For what?
4 years.
That's fair.
absolutely.
That's probably
Definitely.
underpaid.
Considering the half situation in rugby league at the moment, there's not many of them.
But on that topic, we need a halfback. Like,
Yeah, need someone.
how long have we been saying it for?
He's worth 3.5. Sorry, I had to say that.
Okay, he's worth
He's worth
whatever he's
3.5.
worth, but
Three's a bit low.
he can't do it on his
$1
own.
million a year to other clubs. So if Dogs don't sign
Hold on a
him,
second. What was Mitchell Moses on?
900 a year.
Okay, what's that over 4 years?
3-6.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Matt Burton, for me, as a club, as a valuable player to have and as an asset in your team, he's worth that
He's
much.
someone you build your club around.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
worth that
but
much.
Without a halfback next to him, a decent halfback next to him, he can't do anything.
Yeah, with the inclusion of Reid Marnie, he's going to do a lot of organising. He will help him.
I disagree with that, but you don't need. You can have one dominant half and your spine and a good spine, which
Good
Canterbury will
You
have
can
next
have
year.
You can have a dominant halfback, not a dominant 5'8".
It's much of a muchness
It
these
is,
days.
but it's not.
No, it is. It's not.
He's a
like
ball
back in-
running
it's-
5'8".
It's not. Yeah, but he can still control the game.
Yeah, he controlled our game all year. But yeah, I think
But the issue is you don't want him controlling the game. He's a
That's
ball running
right,
5.
yeah.
You want him to take on the line, not have to worry about I've got to get back for 5th tackle, so I need to kick it. Now you got Flanagan who can't even fucking kick his mum out of the house.
he probably had to do a bit, probably a lot for our team this year, where you would
Exactly.
like someone to take control. He's having to take control, do everything, but he's good
That's what
enough
he's
to
getting
do it.
paid for, though.
That's right.
That's what he's getting paid for.
And that's what he's going to get.
And
the
you got to
big bucks
remember,
for.
he's only been playing. He's played centre last year.
Yeah.
This is his first
year.
proper year.
So you reckon
playing
fair
5'8".
offer?
We're paying unders.
Yeah.
Paying
Yeah, I think
unders,
so. Yeah, I think so
100%.
too.
And
But
I think he's got much more room to grow as a player. He can turn into anything you want him to turn into.
Yeah.
He's a player you build your club around. What happened last time we had a player like this? What did we do?
Oh, we lost them.
Who was it?
First them.
Exactly.
Yep.
Don't make the same mistake again.
Who's
Absolutely, I
who's
agree.
the first choice halfback option for next year?
Oh, it'll be Flanagan at the moment. Yeah. Unless we
I can't
sign
hear that.
someone in the off season.
Brandon Wakem's having the time of his life in reserve grade.
Yeah.
He's absolutely killing it.
I personally think reserve grade's better than the Super League when we were talking about the Brodikov situation.
And we're going to jump straight into the reserve grade. And massive preview here, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But before we do, for this show to keep on going, please subscribe. If you're liking it and you like enjoying and you enjoy watching it, if you subscribe, it makes it easier for us to get the message out to you guys to watch the show every week. It takes 1.2 seconds to like, another 1.2 seconds to subscribe. It's important, and keep on sharing it. I think it's very, very
Dave,
important.
I
Just-
guarantee you we'll get 100 subscribers if you just stand up and show everyone what you're
You
wearing.
know what? Will?
Nice. And dance. 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 That's hot, man.
I got it.
That's hotter than Cameron Murray. Thank you, David. I appreciate that.
No, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. The organisation of the Penrith Panthers, okay? To have, you tell me what you think. To have them in the reserve grade again against the Bulldogs and potentially going to win, in our league. Anthony, how good are they?
What a club, what a system, what a coach. I can only imagine the director or the CEO is just as beautiful. Everything they do is unbelievable. I mean, they're in the New South Wales Cup final. Good on them. They're also potentially going to win this grand final. We spoke about it last week. 3 years ago, they lost the grand final. Sorry, 2 years ago, they lost the grand final, but they made it. Last year, they won the grand final. This year, it looks like they're going to go back to back. What a club, mate.
Yeah, unbelievable. And it stems from the bottom all the way up, Sam, don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But a lot of people saying Phil Good had a lot to do with that.
Oh, he did.
So is he going to do the same thing with the Bulldogs, or is he?
Eventually. Anthony would know a lot more about the development.
No
and
comment
whatnot.
on Phil Good. Look, I think there's a bit of luck to it as well. I think for the last 10 years, Penrith have had the best juniors.
Yeah, it's been
terms
going
of,
around.
New
yeah.
South Wales Rugby League. So
Well, I
credit
mean,
to them. Credit to them, and look, they're reaping the benefits now.
NRL finals is here, guys. This is massive. Massive. North Queensland Cowboys and the Parramatta Eels, Sam.
I'm going to have to go with Para on this one. I
You're
think.
tipping already.
Yeah,
Can
I
we
am.
talk about it for a sec?
You know, I don't
Can we just give me your thoughts?
I don't have any thoughts. I'm just going to go with Parramatta. I think Mitchell Moses wants that 100 grand.
Nothing drives a little than 100 grand. Let me tell you.
You were talking about before how the Rabbitohs have moulded as a team.
Yeah.
North Queensland Cowboys are the description of moulding as a team.
So you just read them off.
No, I'm not writing them off. I'm not tipping with them, but I just don't think they can play in a big performance game like that.
Anthony?
That's my opinion.
I can't pick a winner for this weekend, for this game. Sorry, in particular. The only thing that I'd say is if it were here, I'd be leaning towards Parramatta. But because it's up there, considering the humidity, considering the fans, the support they're going to get, it's tough. I don't know. I think it's going to be a high point scoring game. I just cannot pick a winner.
Can I just say, and before I leave it to my expert,
Thanks, Tim Bailey, by the way. The weather won't pay that
But
much.
it does.
It
It makes a massive difference. They're used to playing. They're used to playing.
And,
in that
All right, now off to the weather with Anthony Barbarian.
But absolutely, what Anthony's saying, it's we both spoke to Tim Bailey before we came, and
Yeah, exactly.
it was 27 degrees in Townsville on Friday. It's going to be 22 degrees at the time they play. The Parramatta Eels have actually trained all week with the heater on to sort of acclimatise for this.
Is that a joke?
Nah,
Yeah, so say thanks, Tim Bailey
Thanks,
again.
Tim.
So yeah, they've actually trained with the heater on in their gyms and whatnot.
Really?
And they're trained today at 2 p.m., which was the hottest time of the day. I'm sure in our
It
areas it
makes
was
a
raining.
massive difference.
Yeah,
It makes a
absolutely.
massive
Sorry,
difference.
can I just say while we're on the phone with Tim Bailey, he doesn't swing your way, yeah?
Yeah, oh, he's a good sort.
For me, I think you said it, and this is my tip of the round. The fact that you recognise straight away that the North Queensland Cowboys gelled as a unit, and they've been gelling as a unit for pretty much the whole season. Parramatta, for me, like I said, the last few weeks they have gelled.
They need it, David.
Yeah.
They need it.
I know they need it. I'm not dismissing that, but I think people are writing off the Cowboys because they're saying, look, they came 15th last year. They're coming into the finals now. Do they have the experience? Can they make it happen?
There's not much of a standout player there. Like they're just.
but-
Can I
cold.
say something though?
Before I give it to you, Barbs, I really feel the Cowboys here, if they can keep it together, and if the Eels, I find the Eels, if they sort of go off track a bit, they derail completely.
Yeah.
They need to be on like Donkey Kong. Otherwise, I think the Cowboys are going to snatch it.
One more thing about this game in particular, and like you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but they've got more strike power than any of the four teams remaining in the competition.
I
The
agree.
Cowboys.
I agree.
In terms of across the park, I'm
I
not talking
agree.
about one player, Latrell Mitchell, Cleary or
Yeah.
someone like that.
Yeah.
If you look at their, from 1 to 13, they can hit you anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I think they're going to cause for
When
Parramatta
you
on
talk
Friday
about
night.
Scott Drinkwater at the back, the creativity he brings as a
Valentine
half
Holmes.
playing fullback,
Yeah.
You got Val Holmes. I 100% agree with
Tamalolo,
Anthony.
yeah, you're not
I
wrong.
think
You can change your tips, Sam, whenever
No,
you're ready.
I'm going with Para because I feel like they need it.
Nanai, Cotter, Dearden.
What about Tamalolo?
That's not. But
you know,
sorry, one
Tamalolo's
second.
coming into his
Hold on a
own.
second. So that's not good enough.
No.
You can't say that.
It is.
No, it's not. No,
It's a need over a want for me, and I think
need over a want.
Para
Need
needs
over
it.
a want.
Yeah.
Okay, so Canberra didn't want that win, or
Aiden Canberra and Aiden Brickish Stewart. How about that?
But just in
but it's
saying
true,
that,
but you can't. Sorry, if we're talking teams, Cowboys get them.
Para's got him. If Para's on, they're on.
I'm gonna do a side bet.
No
with
one's
you.
stopping
I'm
them.
gonna do a
Done.
side bet, $50.
Done.
Done.
all right, just in saying that, Cowboys are well rested. They've had a week off. They have no injury concerns. The same 17 who played 2 weeks ago will get the job done this week. Parramatta, Bryce Cartwright's been added to the bench. Opicic has been named, but he has a hamstring injury, so we don't know what's going to happen with him. If Opicic is ruled out, we got Nakore, which will move to the centres, and then we might see your boy Nathan Brown come into the onto the bench. So there are some changes.
Hey,
That'll be interesting.
I think Nakore at centre is unbelievable.
He's a good player.
He played there 15 minutes, scored a double. Like, it's too big. He's too big. He's too powerful.
Did you ever consider him, Sam? Honestly,
Oh, look, I looked
Did
at it. Let me tell you.
And I just want to say one more thing, guys. Parramatta has not played a prelim final for 13 years. The last prelim final they played was in 2009,
That's-
and that match still haunts me. Bulldogs versus Para.
But that's what I'm saying. Parramatta are coming into this this finals under some significant pressure, under massive duress coming into this game. Cowboys are coming in like it's another game.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we lost, but we were fucking 15th last year. And this is quite an achievement for our club, so thank you very much. So they're coming into this
Nothing to
stress-free.
lose. Nothing to
Stress-free,
lose.
exactly.
Stress-free.
But Para needs it.
I just think if that stress is gonna get to them and they're gonna show their rigidness on the
Make it
field,
100,
they'll
David.
lose.
Make it 100.
Yeah, I think I will. I'm gonna go for that.
Done.
Boys, Anthony, here you going for that one? You gotta tip somebody.
Cowboys.
Considering Cowboys defeated Para 35-4 in their last meeting, I'm going Cowboys.
Nice.
Sammy?
You gonna ask me again?
You gonna stay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you one more opportunity.
Parramatta.
done. I'm gonna
Mitchell
go.
Moses for $100,000.
I'm gonna go for the Cowboys on that one.
What do you think about the key matchups, Dave? You got Scott Drinkwater, Clint Gufferson, Chad Townsend, Mitchell Moses, Taumalola, Madison, and Nanai versus Isaiah Papaili. There's some superstars.
I'm not saying that this is a walk in the park for the Cowboys
Nah.
one bit. And it is one of those matches that I am absolutely looking forward to indulge in a pizza and watch, let me tell you that. But for me, I think just with all those points in regards to the climate change, and again, I know they're doing everything they can, but as a squad, they're coming into it very, very stress-free. And I think they're going to, beat them in a classy sort of way.
We went from weather to climate change. This is fantastic.
Did I say climate? Not climate change, that climate change, the climate change. You know what I'm saying? Shut up. Penrith Panthers and the Sydney City, South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Sydney Swans.
I fucked that one up.
Sydney Swans, eh?
Sydney-
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I'm
Oh,
not
what
going
a Swannies, mate,
I'm
let me tell ya.
not going to give a plug too much of that code, but I did go to the game for the Swans and the
And you
Collingwood
look like
game.
you had the time of your life.
And it was my time of my life. And what a fucking atmosphere, to win by 1 point and the crowd going up and singing that song, honestly.
Can you sing it? Do you remember it?
I don't know that well. I know the tune of it. Do you know that?
Anthony used to work for him, so
Oh, you know the song? Sing it for
yeah,
us.
sing it
Come
for
on.
us. We'll sing along with you.
Come on. I'll sing with you. No? Anyway, all right.
Pussy.
But honestly, it's good to
Pussy.
see Sydney having that attachment and trying to bring the AFL a bit more. Penrith Panthers, South Sydney Rabbitohs. I'm going for the underdog here. But again, I'm not going to dismiss everything you said about the Penrith Panthers because
Yeah.
they are a beautiful organisation and they
Give
are
us a rundown,
absolutely
Ev.
wonderful. But give me a
Well,
rundown.
Absolutely, Penrith. What an organisation. What a club. Well rested after enjoying a week off. There are no injury concerns for the Panthers. Penrith have named shit Staines, Charlie Staines, to replace suspended winger Taylor May. So the only person out is Taylor May, and yeah, they get a shit stain. Spencer Lenu is free to play after accepting a fine for his tackle. Coruscant been named to start, but as we've seen the last few weeks, Mitch Kenny has actually started, and Coruscant's come on.
By the way, I love that. Sorry.
You're trying to reserve Coruscant for the Tigers next year.
But not only that, injecting him in
Yeah.
halfway through that game. It was like, whoa. Like it's a massive position
Yeah.
to get an injection in, and especially somebody like
Coruscant.
Coruscant, 100%.
Yeah. Majority of Penrith's team have only played one game in the last 4 weeks. As you would remember, a few weeks ago, they rested 13 of their players. They won last week. They won 2 weeks ago, and they've had the week off. So they are very well rested. Then you got South Sydney Rabbitohs, which is just the complete opposite at the moment. You got Sevilla Havili, who I actually think prior to his season commencing, I said, what a stupid signing.
Like, what a dud.
But he's honestly had a decent year, Sam. He's replaced Cook a couple of times. When Cook's been injured, he's did well. He comes on as a bench forward. Not too bad. Jed Cartwright takes his place. You don't want to mention that too much. Alex Johnston, Jai Arrow have both been named despite failing to finish their last week game. You don't know how they're going to go. Jai Arrow looks like he's good to go. AJ 50-50. You mentioned that they might not risk him.
Yeah, he's got reflux. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tom Burgess, unfortunately, he won't make this game. Thomas Burgess will play if they make the grand final.
He will play?
Sorry?
He will play if they make the grand
If
final?
they make the grand final. This is his last week of his suspension.
Okay.
Sam, what do you think?
Look, for me, this is the toughest one of the round. You're going to have to come back to me on it, Dave. I need a bit of persuasion.
That's all good.
Toughest one of the round.
Yeah, for me, it's tougher than the other game.
I think Penrith win very comfortably.
Yeah.
Look, he's always been a Penrith supporter because he used to
I
work for him.
can't stand them.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah.
But I just think if you
There is rumours that he's suck off gold lock. He's
But you know what?
stack them both up against each other. Like I think, look,
But you don't think
Rabbitohs
think they can do it?
no,
Really?
I've not one bit.
But last week he called me to put a multi on. He said Rabbitohs 13 plus, and
Because they were playing the Sharks. Now they're playing Penrith. It's a completely different team. Rabbitohs have Latrell. Yeah, they've got Cook, Murray. But Penrith have two or
Tight contest, Anth?
No,
wow,
Wow.
I don't think so.
he's very confident.
Penrith blower, Anthony.
Souths lead the comp with most line breaks and line break assists. They also lead the comps with most offloads, in saying that Penrith have the best defense this year. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go Penrith. I said it from the beginning of the year. I think 99% of people said it. Penrith will win the
Also
comp.
as well, they've got their number. Yeah, the Souths can't beat Penrith.
Yeah.
You don't remember the game 2 months ago? Penrith had the whole team out and they beat them.
Yeah, that's right.
It's true. It's
Well,
true.
I was about to go against the odds till Anthony said that, so
Penrith for you?
I'm going to go Penrith.
Yeah, look, for me, again, I believe Penrith as an organisation and as a club, unbelievable. I do have, and honestly, it's nothing, there's no reason behind it. I have this little inkling, this feeling that somehow there's going to be an upset. Somehow. I don't know how it's going to happen. I think Latrell's going to put it into third, fourth gear. I think Cameron Murray's going to really step it up. Damien Cook, look at the names I'm mentioning.
That's what I mean.
Cameron
That's
Murray,
what I mean. You can't write them off.
Campbell Graham, Alex Johnson, if he's in, what an inclusion.
Yeah.
Colin Matangi. Come on,
You can't write Souths off. You can't
This is-
write
yeah, this is the thing.
Latrell off.
Look-
But I think you have to try shut down Latrell to win that game.
I think even if Souths have the best performance, Penrith have to perform at 80% to still get them.
That's fair call.
If they drop lower than that, or they somehow have a mental sort of not breakdown. Sorry, I shouldn't come out wrong, but like almost like a different sort of outlook on the game, or they walk in too cocky, or whatever the case might be, they can really snatch that victory selves. But all stations lead to.
I'm just
Penrith for me.
scared.
I
I'm
think
scared Ilias's experience is going to shit his pants.
He didn't
That's
put
what
that,
I'm
he
worried
didn't,
about.
he didn't do that last
He had a
week.
good game last week.
He had
but
a good game.
Yeah.
Scored a try.
He's starting to look like he's going to be a good player. I was his biggest doubter this year. I really was. I didn't rate him. I had him in my fantasy in the NRL draft. And I was the first person to say he's not a first grade player, but he's starting to look really, really good.
Nice. Well, look, all of us are going Penrith here. I believe me too. I think they're going to get him. But again, I can't wait. I cannot wait for the finals to come up this week. Next week is our last show for the season. We're going to have a massive grand final show. But on that note, thank you very much, Sam, for coming again.
My pleasure.
And don't go anywhere. Barb's, absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks, David.
Mr. G, always beautiful to have you.
The pleasure's mine, David.
And look, all the guys out there, like I said before, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share. I want to continue this show on. We want to continue on coming into next year. I believe it's a good show. The people's voice, the people's choice. To keep the show going, and hopefully, coming into next week, we'll talk a bit more on what's going to happen next season. But until then, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Beautiful. Nice. How long did that go for?
Pussy.
50 minutes. Perfect, except 45. I should have told you when I cut it, but I just didn't think it was relevant anymore. You know what I mean? Because we're talking about the team of the week.
So
It's
glad-
only 4 teams.
I'm so glad you stood up on video, but that was the best thing ever.
We've got to do funny shit like